Hello everyone. Today we have a special interview, and this interview is mainly intended to convey the message of positive signs of revival in the tourism and hospitality industry in India amid the pandemic and its impact, which has lasted for more than 6 months. So we have with us Mr. Rajan Bahadur, who is the CEO of Tourism and Hospitality Sector Skill Council. Sir, we are very privileged to have you today in this short interview that we have planned with you. It would be nice to know from you, learn from you about the industry's voice, the industry's experience when it comes to skilling, upskilling, reskilling, education, and many aspects of how we prepare the youth and the present workforce to overcome the challenges, sir. So let's get started with what you have to say about the industry perspective first.
So thank you, Madhuri. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to talk on such forums. Very excited myself. With regards to the industry perspective from the tourism and hospitality sector, let me just divide it into two scenarios, pre-COVID and the current COVID situation, or as we are coming out of it. Now, as we all perhaps know that tourism and hospitality is one of the largest employers globally, worldwide. And supports one in India, when you see it accounts for about 10% of the GDP.
Right.
And is very often seen as a catalyst for economic development. I think last 18-19, if I have to take some figures, 58 million jobs were created, which is about 10%, employs about 12% of the workforce in India itself. So I'm just telling you the magnitude of this whole thing.
Yeah.
We had about nearly 11 million foreign visitors last year. We had about 5 million NRIs alone who come visiting their families. 1.8 billion Indians traveled locally. And I'll come, why I'm saying this is, I'll come back to this because there's a huge opportunity here. And similarly, about 26 to 30 million Indians traveled overseas. So I think the industry was on a high. It was growing exponentially. And I think that was good. Fast forward to the current situation, I think tourism and hospitality is one of the worst hit during this pandemic. First to affect us, and perhaps we'll be amongst the last industry to fully recover, because it's going to be a long time we recover.
Yeah.
I think I must say out here that close to 90% of the world population now lives in countries that has travel restrictions.
Okay.
And it's happening across, not just in India. Millions have lost jobs. And I think that is now the magnitude of the whole situation here. So, I think one of the things that this industry has taught us, which I think very few management schools or universities teach us, is to how to learn, how to deal with failure.
Okay.
Because this is not the first time that we as an industry have been challenged. Inside, albeit this time the magnitude has been very huge. But you talk about the Mumbai terrorist attack.
Right.
We came out of it. The new normal became the normal. I mean, today, if you are not security checked at a hotel, you will be a little skeptical about getting into it, because that has become a new normal today.
Yeah.
Similarly, I feel things like hygiene, sanitation, a whole lot of stuff that we are dealing with during the current pandemic will become part of the new normal. So I think there is a huge scope for us and a huge opportunity for us to grow.
Okay. So in this background, we are talking about, at present, we see signs of revival. There is a promotional activity also happening from many, let's say, right from restaurants, small restaurants, QSRs, hotels and others. And also the tourism part of it is likely to pick up in the coming months. So do you see the need for, new skills coming up, new kind of maybe, education or skills or anything which is going to, be new in this environment in the coming months or years?
Well, absolutely. I think as we are, we often talk about the new normal.
Yeah.
But I think The new normal is changing every day. So unlike the earlier belief that the goalpost is there and shoot for it, the goalpost is continuously changing. And that's why it's important for all of us as an industry to keep aligning to the new changes. Today, nobody can still say what, these are all guesswork, right? When is it going to revive? What is going to happen? How many months is going to take?
Yeah.
But I think that old saying of survival of the fittest has gone out of the window. It is now survival of the quickest.
Okay.
By that I mean is how quickly do you adapt? And it is the, I mean, we are seeing things happening. We are seeing the multitasking happening. We are seeing technology coming in. We are seeing contactless experiences in hotels, restaurant, hospital. Even your menus are on your mobile now. You
Right.
don't have to go through the paperman.
Right.
So I think the way to do business is changing. And given all of that, I think skilling, and particularly today, youth who are part of this, I mean, I've always been optimistic. So I'm seeing the youth who are riding this wave are a part of it. They are already familiar with the changes. They are already apt with the technology. In our generation still struggles with technology, right? These people are born with a computer, mobile in the hands.
Yeah.
So to deal with all these changes, and technology is definitely going to play a very important role. Digitalization is going to play a very important role. So I think as we start skilling people, it is not just skill in basic culinary and food and beverage and things like that, but it's also technology, which is also going to bring in the. I think another important aspect when we talk about skilling and training is the fact we always focus on the youth and the students, which is right. But we very often forget the trainers.
Right.
The trainers are not attitudinally apt or adapting themselves, then there's very little training that they can do, or the training may not be of the caliber which is required. So I think it's equally important, while definitely the youth, the training, the skilling has to come into play, but it's also important that the trainers, and they're doing it. Today, you see professors, you see people in the education field, you see trainers who are training, who are adapting and changing. So I think that some of these things are really going to play a very, very critical role as we go on.
Okay. Yeah, you just mentioned about trainers. I think it's a very important point. So from the Sector Skill Council, is there something happening in terms of training of trainers, or like the TOT programs where you are trying to upskill them or prepare them for the so-called new normal?
Actually, quite frankly, necessity is the mother of all inventions. And sometimes while we have been doing that, this has sort of put us into a fast forward mode. So we see more and more apps on upskilling and skilling. THSC has launched several free certificate courses through the apps for students, employees, and also doing a lot of stuff for the trainers. So both ends, as I mentioned to you. So to deal with it, whether it is soft skill, again, whoever thought that training for cooking, for patisserie, for whole lot of stuff involved in the hospital, housekeeping could be done online. So while I do understand that a lot of stuff in cooking, for example, you need to taste, smell, feel the food, that part of it will still remain partly practical, but a lot of it is soft training, which we have already started doing some paid courses, some free courses, because don't forget that in skilling, we are looking at really the bottom of the pyramid. Right. And we are looking at those youth who are scattered today all over the country, who are back into the villages and hometown, and to skill them, to get them in. Yeah. I think the industry will open. It's a matter of time, and it will open with a vengeance. And I think, so a lot of things happening here in terms of, so we ourselves are putting in a lot of apps. We are running a lot of, we are also tying up with people like CII. We've just tied up, we are launching next week with the Bangalore Chambers of Commerce. I'm just giving a few examples where we are bringing out several of these apps for skilling of youth there.
Yeah, and also let me also refer to this recent launch of Sathi portal, which is more about bringing back the customer confidence and credibility in the industry. So how is it getting implemented by the hotels across India?
So I think these are very important thing in terms of Saathi itself. I think some of these are ministry norms which all the properties are following, and I think it's a good thing. For one, we can see the government from the point of view of creating these apps, of bringing them down and giving clear guidelines.
Yeah.
Is happening, and hotels are following that because everybody is wanting to pull in the same direction to get out of this COVID. So things like Sati, things like Arogya Setu app, things like whole lot of our apps which are there, which are already getting implemented and are being utilized very well to make sure that both the customers and the employees are getting trained on that.
Yeah, that's nice to know. Yeah, and also the way you have told us about the entire digital campaigns and the digitalization of training, I mean, the courses and of course the use of apps. I think you are going in a the much needed, route to digital adoption in the industry. So along with this, I also foresee a good opportunity in the coming months and years for let's say rural tourism and rural hospitality. So is this also an area where you are looking at, because this has a huge potential for job creation as well?
Absolutely. So a couple of things. I think domestic tourism is going to lead the charge, so to say. And India for sure is sitting in a very good position because we have so much to offer. We are such a diverse country geographically, culturally, habits, food, and everything. So I think there's a lot of. The government is doing a fair amount. I think they can do much more in terms of last mile connectivity. We are running a lot of courses where we are also training people for entrepreneurship. So, for example, guest houses, for example, homestays.
Yeah.
Because I think what's going to happen is for some time to come, people are going to, as far as possible, avoid taking flights. Right. And going a long way. So what's going to happen is people are going to pick up the cars and the vehicles and drive into 4, 5, 7, 8 hours of driving distances, stay in a place where they feel they're comfortable and it's hygienic, and there'll be more short vacations.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of entrepreneurship, a lot of skilling there. A person can be sitting in a small town in, let's say, Uttarakhand or Himachal, very good in technology, using mobiles and using technology on the laptop in terms of data and all, but may not have soft skill to open up homestays, to how to look after, greet people. Not only that, I think in today's scenario, hygiene, sanitization is not just front of the house. It's also back of the house. So how about people, looking at homestays where the visitors are invited to come into the kitchen to help the family cook the local food and eat. So I think those are things which will become extremely interesting and motivating for people to take the short vacation. Okay. So definitely, I think rural culture, rural marketing, rural homestays, once developed and are being done, and I know a lot of people who are already successfully doing that. So big opportunity.
Okay, yes, can't agree more on this, because we see a huge potential, as you said, and also this all these campaigns about being vocal for local and trying to be self-reliant. I think all these themes also can be connected with the tourism and hospitality industry very well.
Yeah, if I could just add to that, not only that, I think India as a country, I mean, we have a huge scope in terms of religious tours.
Tourism, right? Pilgrimage.
Absolutely. We have medical tourism, huge thing. We got excellent medical facilities, much cheaper. This is an opportunity to develop them further. And I think from that point of view, so, things are changing. I said in the beginning, goalposts are changing. So for example, I'll give you a small one. The big fat Indian wedding is out of the window. But what is going to happen, perhaps going to happen, is the fact that instead of me having a wedding inviting 500 guests, if the hotel is telling me, why don't you have 4 or 5 smaller get-togethers spread over 2 or 3 months where you have all the functions of 100 people each, I think that is going to be a new norm and more opportunity. The hotel looks busy, it's earning more revenues consistently, and things will happen.
Right. Now coming to the training partners and the industry. So what are the steps you're taking to create awareness about the training partners who are affiliated with this sector skill council, to adopt technology and to do the things that you are planning? And on the other side, how is the industry receiving these things? What is the kind of awareness, and how do you see, the jobs coming up? Is there any such, a trend that you see now in the coming months? Any hints on this?
So, yeah. So coming to training partners, as I mentioned to you, we have started taking out a lot of many of our courses, which are now blended courses. So which can be done online and offline. The
Okay.
intent being that whatever we can do online just now, let's do that, do it well. And so as the things are opening now, we will have opportunities for practical training. So I think that's a good thing. Same is the case for assessments. We have also started now doing assessments online. Earlier, we were actually traveling and doing assessment at the place. Now we are doing. So I think from that point, I see few, every popular, this thing is a green shoots. And we are seeing a lot of things happening. With regards to employment and future thing, again, two ways I look at it. People have asked me in the past that, what do you recommend, what is your advice to students who are undergoing various these skilling programs? And I say they can't be in a better situation, because by the time they finish 6 months, 1 year, 18 months later, the industry will start opening up. There will be more requirement. These people have already ridden the wave of technology and changing scenario. They'll be able to adapt very well. Right. Also, when they finish the theoretical part of it, by the time they're finishing, they'll be into the practicals, and that can be easily done there. Right. Having said that, I think it's going to be a bit of a long drawn process. Nothing is going to happen Monday morning, but as things are opening up, I do feel that this sector will be late to start, but once it starts off, it will have a huge impact. It will be like tourism by vengeance. Yeah. So I think that's going to happen. This is my personal view.
Yeah. Any views on a revival of apprenticeships also as the revival happens?
I think apprenticeship is an extremely important sort of a module that we have. And it helps both. From the student's point of view, you learn and you earn at the same time.
Right.
And you also get a mix of both theory and practical. From an employer's point of view, you are building really a ready pipeline for the future. Because they're training people, they're used to the latest equipment, the latest technology which are being used practically. And by the time they finish the training, they're set to be there. The challenge remains that people who do that immediately now will have to wait for some time. But I can assure you that it's not going to be indefinite wait. And I would feel that people who are finishing are ready may take a little longer to get apprenticeships at this time of time as things are opening, but they should invest this time in other skills, because it is going to be multi-skilling.
Right.
And this is the time, and actually this is an opportunity. This is a first opportunity to use this space to utilize and build your skills, which will be used later. I mean, tomorrow, it won't be surprising for a front office, a guest relation, and people jobs to get combined or overlap with each other. Your housekeeping people should be equally apt in talking to guests in terms of hygiene factors, sanitization. They should have that knowledge. So this is a time to build those skills around your core competency also.
Yes, so as you rightly said, there's going to be multi-skilling and mixing of jobs, job roles, swapping of job roles. I mean, what would be your message to, let's say, the young people who want to join the industry? Because most of our viewers also happen to be the young people, besides, the training partners and others from the ecosystem.
So for the youngsters, I think they have, my only mantra to them is that there's a huge opportunity here. And I'm not saying it for the sake of saying because I'm from this industry. I think people are waiting to travel. In India, we are in a much better position because domestic travel will take off much faster.
Yeah.
I think there will be a need after the initial gap for people to recruit. If the youth are multi-skilled, they stand even a better chance. And I think one needs to just hang in there, because let me tell you one thing, it's not just the hospitality industry.
Right.
Today, there are very few sectors which have got jobs available. But I think once these things will start opening, and they're beginning to open now, it may take a little longer, but they're beginning to open. Within the next 6-18 months, you'll see a huge change in terms of opportunities, revival, and the only thing I would want to say out here is that while the government has done some stuff, there are lots more that can be done. From the government point of view. I mean, there are live examples of countries who have done a lot within the tourism and hospitality. And the reason I mentioned in the beginning was this caters to 58 to 60 million people, 10% of your employment workforce out here. So if this is a sector we can focus on, this is one of the largest revenue foreign exchange earners for us, the largest employer generator for us. So I think we need to focus and continue to focus and not move our foot from the pedal as far as tourism and hospitality is concerned. But the other thing is that for the youth is that believe in yourself. That's important. Be proud of what you're doing. You've all chosen this field.
Yeah.
We have all risen up from the ranks literally of doing various. I wasn't a hotelier through my life. I started my career by selling matchboxes on Churchgate in Bombay. That's how I started my career 35 years ago. But I'm just saying, believe in what you do, believe in what be confident, and the opportunities are not going away. They will come. It's a bit delayed, but they will come.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I think you have said it all in such beautiful way and highly motivating also, the message that you gave us. Is there anything else, sir, you would want to add to whatever you've said so far?
No, actually, look, it's a trying time for everybody. Everybody is going through this, and everybody, not in just our country, globally is going through this.
Yeah.
I mean, we have seen that. It's important for us to practice what we preach. So some of us who are senior in the system need to also make sure that what we are preaching and teaching in terms of hygiene, sanitization, we are practicing it. And I think people awareness generation of this is very important. And today is an opportunity where people are willing to learn because they don't want to take a chance.
Yeah.
And so I think keep your chins high. This sector, I personally believe in this sector. I believe in people and the pillars who have created this sector over decades. This sector is only going to get better and revive very soon. It's already beginning to happen.
Thank you. I think that's what we all needed from the tourism and hospitality sector. A lot of positive messaging and a lot of positive energy, which you are giving us now through this talk. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing your views. We will be connected with you in other ways also through our newsletter and our website. Thanks again,
Thank
sir.
you very much. And by the way, I'm saying this all because I genuinely, personally believe this. And I think this is a good opportunity. So thank you very much. And thank you for having me over.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.